Welcome to the Thrivers Life series, the creation of your highest and your best life after narcissistic abuse. So, can I just be really straight with you? This is Thrivers Life after all. We cut to the chase here. We are our own worst enemies. When you understand quantum law and that you're the generator of your own experience, you know that the only thing between you and your goals is yourself. And that's not about damning or blaming ourselves. It's exciting because it puts the power back where we can do something about it. Today, I'm going to talk to you about our number one biggest issue, self-sabotage. And I'm so excited to talk to you about how to overcome it. But before I do, I'd like to thank you for subscribing to my channel and for supporting the Thriver mission. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I want to remind you to please do. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. All right, so let's get this Thriver Life episode rolling. Knowing self-sabotage inside out. I totally feel qualified to talk to you about this today because I used to be the self-sabotage queen. I was highly addictive. Definition being not able to withstand emotional distress and grabbing a self-medication outside of myself to try to numb out the inner emotional pain. That is exactly what self-sabotage is. It's about making a choice to avoid our feelings that doesn't help our feelings but only adds more trauma to them. Self-sabotage is a huge issue within this community because most of us have suffered lack of inner wholeness and solidness, the difficulty to self-soothe and heal our emotions, and we've therefore been highly susceptible to being traumatized and hooked onto people and things that are not healthy for us. That's what I used to do when emotional pain hit. I would try to get comfort from the very people who were hurting me or the other narcissists in my life, cigarettes. Included in my ways to self-avoid were also junk food and alcohol. And then there was workaholism. And on the surface, it would seem that this go-to was healthy, but nothing is when it's out of balance, and certainly not when it's being used as a way to self-avoid feelings and self-abandon inner trauma rather than heal it to completion. To be in balance and healthy needs these components: emotional well-being, spiritual well-being, physical well-being, financial well-being, mission and purpose well-being, restorative well-being, and connective well-being with self, life, and others. All of us have areas of ourselves to work on. That is the glory and the grace of evolution. All of us have areas that we self-sabotage in. So be really honest with yourself. I suggest that you write down those well-being points and journal on them and be honest. Which of these areas in your life do you self-sabotage in? Let's have a look at claiming your power to change self-sabotage. Again, I'm going to be really straight with you. You are not going to give up self-sabotage tendencies if you refuse to give up blame and shame of others or yourself, or if you wait for somebody else to rescue you, atone, or be brought to justice, or if you refuse to take the responsibility to do the necessary inner work to heal and change yourself. Also, regardless of your age or circumstances, if you stay dependent on others for your well-being and hold them responsible for it, you're not going to get better. Yes, absolutely, others can help and assist, and they will, but only if you're willing to heal and help yourself first. I can't express to you enough the wonder of how all of life will start nourishing and flourishing you in the most incredible ways when you make overcoming your traumas and healing yourself your highest mission. As a powerful quantum creator who is creating more of your inner beliefs and alignments in your outer world every moment of every day, it's advantageous to take the radical personal responsibility to know this. When life works, it's reflecting where I am with that topic. When life doesn't work, it's reflecting where I am with that topic. Things are definitely not working optimally in our lives when we're self-sabotaging. So let's now dissect self-sabotage. What are the characteristics of it? Okay, darling thriver, I know you know when you are self-sabotaging. You know you didn't want to sleep in when you made a commitment to move your body with exercise that morning. You know that putting something off, like having that discussion that you know you need to do, is causing more pain for you now. You know when you're doing an addictive thing that is undermining your health, being, and the values that you'd like to have for yourself. You know when you are indulging in trash talk, how terrible it feels for you instead of staying aligned with who you really are on a topic. You know you didn't want to break no contact. I virtually always knew when I was doing self-sabotage. Often I knew it in the moment, and I certainly knew it afterwards. And I know you do too. So why do we do it? Why do we self-sabotage? Because we are giving in to trying to soothe the trauma with a quick fix, which we know won't durably work, rather than face and heal the trauma. Self-sabotage is like a runaway train. The strong urges make us create excuses and justifications, often insane reasons that we know are lame. And when we're explaining why we're going to make a bad choice to somebody else, it's usually ourselves that we're trying to convince the most. Have you noticed that? And they kind of look at us like, yeah, I'm not buying it. But then if that fails, our excuses and justifications, we can come up with an old personal favorite of mine, which was, oh, that's okay. I'll get back to where I need to be tomorrow. I applied that to continuing to see the narcissist, smoking cigarettes that day, or having a blowout with alcohol. You may do this too. And of course, tomorrow never comes. So how can we powerfully overcome self-sabotage? This example is really interesting to understand. A previous client of mine gambled heavily, disastrously. In every area of her life, she was doing well. Yet, this was her self-sabotage, self-medication, self-destruct when she experienced eternal emotional trauma. In her earlier years, marijuana was her go-to, but she got clear of that because she healed this completely with Quantum Freedom Healing. This lady was a NAPA, she was working the program, and I gave her explicit instruction that when her exact moment that the gambling addiction hit hard, that urge to go gamble, that her adult self needed to take charge and march herself off to a NARP healing right in that moment. Then she could meet the inner urges and trauma whilst they were fully energized in her body, release them and go free from them, and reprogram them on the spot instead of giving in to them. She had achieved that with marijuana. Her massive shift out of all the urges and the addiction to being stoned happened at one point. It happened in one healing. It was after a month of binging, and she came to a healing with me in the exact moment of terrible urges and breakdown. She wanted to do anything to get to marijuana. That's how bad it was. But I convinced her to stay in the healing and to meet the traumas. After 1 hour of a Quantum Freedom Healing, she never again had any tendency, after decades of pot addiction, to smoke again. How is this possible? I can assure you it is. The reason is because all of her unconscious traumas driving the addiction were fully active in her body. That's what the urges are. Traumatized screams inducing the feeling of needing the choice of addiction to numb out the screams. The addiction is not the issue at all. It's only a symptom of the issue. It's the traumas driving the need to self-medicate that's causing the addiction. Yet she hadn't done this in an ARP healing with gambling right at the moment of the urge. And she continued to gamble. And I knew 100% that if she did, she would heal that addiction as well. So how do we come out of the fog and into the driver's seat to stop giving in to our self-sabotages, no matter what they are? We're going to have a look at the steps, how to do it, because there are definitive steps. Step one is to be really honest with yourself. Call it out instead of being led down the garden path by the excuses. And we can even do that really soft, soothing inner child stuff with ourselves. That's all right. I'm just going to love myself through it. I'm not a fan of that. Okay, so I'm going to give you a simple example. Let's say that there's a chocolate block in the house and you feel the urges to eat it, and you know that if you start on just a couple of pieces that you're going to eat the whole block. All right, and maybe you're doing this every day and you know it's not good. So if you're a NARPer, you've got two choices. You can give in and loathe yourself afterwards, which just sets up the peptide addiction to do it again, because your body is going to chase the powerful surge of self-loathing peptides in the future. Or you can admit to yourself that you're self-sabotaging your health goals, and you can do step number two, which is take yourself firmly by the hand to a NARP module and meet the trauma in your body and shift it out. When you do that, it's going to astound you, because you're going to find origins of all sorts of things that are hurting you, that are causing you to self-medicate with excessive sugar. Things like, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, whatever, they will be there. And after doing a NARP module, you will find that you have no urge to go for the chocolate. It will actually feel like it repulses you. You will feel whole and satisfied on the inside, and it's also going to decrease your urges for excessive chocolate in the future. And the truth is, maybe you're going to have to meet this trauma in your body several times before all urges of the traumatic self-medication choice is gone. It could go in one go, it may take a few. But I promise you, if you do this, it will go. And you'll emerge stronger, more healed, more whole, and growing in personal integrity, integration, and evolution, knowing that you can look after yourself to create all of that and more. NARP module work is the ultimate self-soothing. It not only calms your emotions, it completely transforms and reprograms them. Now let's get very clear about this final thing. Step 3 is more of an understanding, really. And it's understand that dealing with your trauma is the last thing that you're going to want to do. It is the last thing when we're in that moment. We don't want to do healings. We want to go do the self-sabotage. So even though it's the last thing you will want to do, it's the thing you need to do. And the relief and the joy of doing so, doing the healing, will only be after you've actually done the work. But the more you train yourself to do this as a way of life, I promise you, the easier it gets to do. Rather than go for the self-sabotage thing, your go-to will be, okay, I'm feeling this, I need to go heal this. Truly every, and I mean every area of your life can and will heal when you meet self-sabotage at its core. By targeting this, this is what you target. The traumas in my body that are causing me to not do this thing, the thing that you know that you should be doing that is going to serve you, or the traumas in my body that are causing me to do that, the thing that isn't serving you, that's hurting you. It is no exaggeration to say that stopping self-sabotage could be a life and death choice. It certainly is when it comes to narcissistic abuse, and it is with serious addictions as well. So with this understanding, you will eliminate breaking no contact, reacting, and feeding a narcissist supply. You will also get out of feeling terrified about standing up and creating healthy boundaries. I also hope now that you realize what a powerful tool and application what you've just learnt today is for every area of your life that you wish to break free in. I adore this healing journey from the inside out, and I am a completely different being from my previous self in such a positive way, and I know that you will be too. So to learn more about trauma, how it's controlling your life, and how to live completely free from it to create the life and yourself of your dreams, please join me in my free masterclass where we really pull this apart and do a complete understanding about it. It's going to be life-changing for you. So I'd love you to join me by clicking the link at the top right of this video. And for those of you who are NARPers, who have already been in a masterclass with me as well, you may want to consider having a look at the Empowered Self course. There's exciting updates coming, which you get free updates once you're a member, and it really is about taking your life to incredible heights. And of course, breaking out of self-sabotage at totally powerful levels. So you can check out that by clicking the link that's appearing now at the top right of this video. Okay, so I truly hope that this has helped. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe so you'll be notified as soon as each new one is released. And if you liked this, click like. Also share with your communities so that we can get the truth out there. And I am totally looking forward to your comments and your questions below. Okay, so after narcissistic abuse recovery, let's evolve as far as we can go with grace and grist. And that's a beautiful expression that a dear friend of mine, Fiona, uses a lot, and I love it. So I'm going to claim it for Thrivers Life. I hope you don't mind, Fiona. I'm sure you don't, because it is grace with grist. That's what our life is about. So why are we going to go higher and further? Because we can. That's why. And I love that. So until the next one, lots of love. Bye-bye.